Test mic, 1, 2, 3, test mic, 1, 2, 3. Good evening to everyone. How are we doing?
I'm doing well by His grace.
That's great. Opoku, can you hear me? Bruno, can you hear me? Forsyth, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yes,
How has our day been?
it
It
has
has been good.
by God's grace.
We thank God. So, as you were thinking about yesterday, what comes to mind first when you think about yesterday's training?
Okay, with me, one thing that has been on my mind throughout the day was what purpose is not. There are many things I thought that was what purpose was about. But yesterday, I just learned something new about what purpose is not. I was
Okay,
great. Thank you.
that's great. Opoku, how about you?
Thinking about yesterday, I realized that what I thought was my purpose wasn't, because I thought things you are good at is what makes your purpose. But after the training yesterday, I realized that there's much purpose than just being good at something.
So, before yesterday, what did you think your purpose was?
I thought my purpose was being good, relating with people well, and then helping people become better in whatever they do.
Okay. And now, even though you're on the road to it, what do you think your purpose is?
Well, that's what I'm still trying to figure out, because it has been on my mind since yesterday, thinking what actually it is. And then after taking the temperament test, I want to be sure if it is linked to temperament before I honestly do not know.
Okay, that's fine. Emanuela, what have you been thinking about?
I was also thinking the same as Wopoku, but that mine was had a twist. A question popped up to me if I'm truly living my purpose, and I've been stuck with that question for like 2 hours, no answers. So I'm hoping that maybe this section will make me really answer that question, because there's a whole lot of things going on around me right now. I don't seem to find out if that is really, really my purpose. So I'm just hoping this evening section will help me identify that.
Okay. Is Bruno with us? Well, so we have probably 4 minutes before we kickstart everything. So hang tight. Let's stay in there and we'll start soon. Okay.
All right.
Okay, good evening to everybody. Here we go for day 2. Today is the final day. There's so much to do. And we are jumping straight in. If you can turn on your camera, that would be great. At least let me see you briefly so we can wave at each other. And then maybe if you want to save on bandwidth. Hello, Daniel. How has your day been?
It's been good.
It's been good. Opoku, good to see you. We're still waiting for Emanuela and Forsyth and Pearl and Bruno to turn on their cameras so at least we can see each other, and then we will start. Hello, Bruno. Good to see you. That is great. So, I think we will start now. Good. So it's another day. Today is day 2. And you are welcome. Finding your life's purpose. This is a 2-day masterclass. And today we happen to be having our final lap. I hope you've enjoyed the last few days or yesterday, and let's see what we remember. So, I started by asking this question earlier. Maybe I'll ask it again. Each person should take a turn telling me what they have thought about as they reflected over yesterday's training. From the top of my screen, let's start with Bruno. I know today your mind must have gone over some of the things that we did yesterday. So my question to you is, what came to mind and what were you thinking about the most? Bruno, we can't hear you. Can you unmute yourself? Or connect your mic? Maybe you haven't connected yet. Unfortunately. Can anyone hear Bruno?
No, please.
No, please.
Okay, so maybe let's go to Pearl while Bruno tries to sort himself out.
Hello. Today I've actually been thinking of what I've been eager to know exactly what my purpose is, because I realized yesterday there were lots of confusions all around. So I'm actually, today's one was much of expectation, wanting to know how to identify my exact purpose. Yeah.
Okay.
So that was what I was thinking about for the day. Yes, please.
Okay. Bruno, is your sound working now? So
Yes,
tell
yes.
us what you've been thinking about.
Okay. Well, yesterday I couldn't really join for the whole session, but I was able to catch a part. And the part that says that your purpose is not your job, and then your purpose is not your ministry. So I've been thinking about it. So if your purpose is not your job or your ministry, what at all is it? I've been thinking about that since yesterday.
Okay. That's good. Then let's see. Let me stop sharing so I can see everybody. Dasa, what have you been thinking about since yesterday? After Dasa, we'll go to Opoku. Then after Opoku, Daniel. Is Dasa with us?
Yeah, please, I didn't get you. Can you please repeat what you said?
After yesterday's session, what have you been thinking about today concerning the training? What has been running through your mind about yesterday the most?
Yeah, yesterday, though the network was bad at a point, but I learned a lot. But so I was now trying to figure out what really now is my purpose. Because when I realized that your purpose is not your career, it's just a career tool. So now, then what is my purpose? So I've been thinking through now, what is then if it's not my career, because when the answer I gave in the first breakup room meeting, I was thinking, okay, because really have interest in mentoring or coaching or demonstrating how what we learned in school in the laboratory medicine. So if then it is not, what then is my profession? So today my anticipation is, okay, then by the end of the section, I should be able to know or to identify my purpose in which I'm living for. I don't know if my line was clear.
Yeah, I understand you. Okay, so let's go to Paulina. What have you been thinking about since yesterday?
Please, sorry. Good evening.
Good evening.
What I've been thinking about is in alignment with what Dasa just said. So from yesterday, I've been thinking what actually then is my purpose. Since what I thought was my purpose is no longer my purpose. So today I'm keenly listening to be able to figure out what my purpose is then.
Okay. Sandra, what have you been thinking about today? Anytime, yes, last night's training came to mind.
One of the key things I'm looking out for is one, clarity of my purpose statement. Because I think yesterday the ones you mentioned sounded, so I would want to clarify that at the end of today's session. And I remember I heard you say that purpose discovery is a journey, not an event. So I believe that I'm trusting that I'll have more clues to what I've perceived my purposes.
Okay. Opoku.
So from last night, I realized what I was reading wasn't my purpose, and then I'm really intrigued to know what my purpose is. And then after going through the homework era, thinking about what I'm good at, temperament, I'm really intrigued. I want to know what's really my purpose is in this life.
Okay, let me change the question. Okay, from now on, everyone should tell me something they remember from yesterday, because everybody seems to be telling me, I want to know what my purpose is. I want to know what my purpose is. I'm talking about when you think about yesterday. So now let me reframe the question. What do you remember most from yesterday's sessions? So Daniel.
Yeah, from yesterday's session, one of the key things I remember is the fact that our purpose, knowing your purpose is very important. Like knowing my purpose is very important. And discovering it is one of the key things that can do in life. So as I walk through today, I was just like, oh, so all this I've been doing, this cycle I've been going through all these years. So it's not actually my purpose. And it's kind of makes me sad, but then it also makes me realize that there is a possibility to learn more and then utilize that information to become better henceforth. So one key thing I learned from yesterday is that my definition of purpose has been wrong. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Emanuela.
What I remember from yesterday was why the need for me to know my purpose. And I think I'll mention to you, knowing my purpose will help me make an excellent decision in life. And then also it will enable me navigate through challenges that comes my way. I think that's what I remembered from yesterday. Thank you.
All right. Foresight.
What I also remember from yesterday was a scenario you gave. First, you said the eagle has no business with the fish unless it wants to eat it up. So you made a statement that purpose, it even determines the kind of associations you keep. You don't work with anyone and you don't move just anywhere because there is a vision driven your life. So that's one thing I remember from yesterday.
Okay. So all of that has been good. So if you remember, yesterday, after we had our welcome, we explained who we are as North Breeze, went through our ground rules. The first thing I spoke about yesterday was the concept of longevity, how we are going to live much longer than our ancestors. And for that reason, it's important that we learn. Sorry, I was reading a message, so I lost my train of thought. So it's important that we realize that there's a lot of life ahead of us. Then we went on to understanding our purpose, the importance of knowing your life's purpose, then clarifying what purpose is not, then the frustrations we go through. Then we had our home assignment and guidelines. Now, today, what we are going to do is we're going to have a recap. Then we're going to look at the 4 major lives questions, principles of purpose, how to identify your purpose. If there's enough time, we may talk about the purpose statements, and then we'll take our closing remarks. As I was listening to your recap, I think too many of you are being unnecessarily hard on yourself. I explained that identifying your purpose is a journey. Okay? So you can't look at it, like Daniel said, that means all these things I've been doing have not been in the right way. Not necessarily. When you finally put together your purpose, you may realize that intentionally or unintentionally, you've been living aspects of your purpose already. Or you may realize that you have been living out your purpose, but you've been limiting it to a particular grouping or a particular location, and maybe I need to broaden it. So you shouldn't go back feeling like, my life is completely useless or my life has not been working. No. If you've been doing your best, I don't think there's any way you've not been living aspects of your purpose. The second thing too is I tried to manage your expectations last week and yesterday, and I'll manage your expectations today one more time. Discovering your purpose is a journey. Discovering your purpose is not an event. I'm going to give you guidelines. At the end of this evening, you are not going to say, okay, my purpose is. No, you may be able to have a bit more clarity. There's going to be considerable work you are going to have to do. And you gradually refine it till you come to the point where you have a very conk purpose statement. I knew about purpose when I was somewhere 17, 18. I started studying about purpose, listening, understanding. I finally had a clear purpose statement that I can say out within 3 sentences, probably when I was 26, 27, thereabouts. But from 17, 18, I knew my purpose was in this direction. Okay, so please be patient with yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. 2 days is not enough for you to have a conclusive picture, but you are going to be seeing much more clearly by the end of today. So let me do my best to make that very clear to all of us. Let's remember that it's a journey, it's not an event. So please be patient with yourself and show yourself some grace on this journey. Okay? Great. So,
Okay.
yes. So let me continue. Can all of you see my screen now?
Yes, please.
Okay, that's great. Good. So there's something in order to, as we are on this journey of purpose, there are 4 major questions that define your existence. How do I get this thing to retract? Nope. Okay, it's retracted now. There are 4 major questions that define your existence. And until you can find answers to those questions, on a certain level, you will struggle, especially when you are thinking around issues of purpose and your destiny. All right. The first question you need to be able to answer is, who am I? Who am I? Okay. Who am I is a question you ask yourself, but what you're trying to figure out here is, if we all agree that we are all created with a purpose in life, we are all created for a reason, and we are not mistakes, why do I look the way I look? Why do I have the level of intelligence and the temperament that I have? Why do I even talk the way I talk? What makes me different? All these things are questions that you must be able to answer under who am I? And I hope that after today, you will take time over the next month to really delve into these questions. Have you ever asked yourself why you don't look like the next person and you look the way you look? Why are you short? Why are you tall? Why do you carry more weight than the next person or less weight than the person around the corner? How come you are more artistic than scientific? How come you are more soft-spoken than loud-spoken? Why do you talk the way you talk, act the way you act? You must realize that who you are is important to where you are going. And you need to begin to embrace who you are, love who you are, and work with who you are instead of trying to be like the next person. One of the biggest problems society today has is we all try to conform to look like and behave like specific people. So you realize that people will say, maybe for instance, I am Ghana's Miles Monroe. What is that? I'm Ghana's Duncan Williams. I'm Ghana's Denzel Washington. The moment you begin to define yourself in the light of someone else, you don't know who you are and you are not embracing who you are. Okay? I follow football. I saw a shot, Nicholas Jackson, he's a Chelsea player, and he wanted to sign an autograph a few days ago, and someone said, you are the next Didier Drogba. He stopped the guy. He said, no, I'm not the next Didier Drogba. I'm the original Nicholas Jackson. Plain and simple. So the question is, do you know who you are and why you have all the things you have? So the first question you need to be able to answer on your journey to discovering your purpose is, who am I? Brings us to the second question. Please, can you all see my screens?
Yes, I can.
All
Yes,
right,
please.
great. The next question you need to ask yourself, when I asked you to look at your strengths, I was hoping that will pop up, and it popped up for some of you that sent your work back. What can I do? So the first question is, who am I? The second question is, what can I do? At your barest level, putting your educational qualification aside, if we strip you down, in our minds, what can you do? What is your potential? What do you have potential to do? And some of you wrote, I am able to convince people and speak to people. Some of you wrote, I lead easily. Some of you wrote, I am able to remember things and consider things. All of those things are facets, but the main question is, what can you do? If right now, let me use this example. Let's say that there is the world, I like science fiction. So let's say that the world is about to be submerged in some fire. And there's a spaceship that is sitting in Accra. And they have a limited number of people they can take to a new planet to live. But when you get to the doors of the spaceship, you must tell them what you can do, because they don't want to take two people that do the same thing. When you get there, what will you say to them? Let me stop sharing for a moment and see if I can see a few faces. No, I'm asking, please turn on your cameras. I want to see your faces for a moment. If there is a spaceship right now in Accra, limited number of people, and the only way you are getting into the spaceship is for you to be convincingly be able to tell the people at the gate what you can do that others cannot do. What answer do you have? What do you bring to the table differently as compared to other people? And that you need to figure out. As we go on, you need to be able to ask yourself, what is my potential? What am I capable of doing? With all these giftings and all these things God has put in me, what am I capable of doing? There are certain things I'm not capable of doing, but there are other things I am capable of doing. And what is that? If you do not know what you are capable of doing, there's a problem. Okay? There is a problem. Or let me not say there's a problem. Let me say there's work to be done. Let me rather put it that way. There is work to be done. What is your potential? That's a big one. That is a big one. Okay? What is my potential? Okay, so I skipped over one. Thank goodness I went back this way. So the first question actually, okay, let me just, it doesn't matter. So what is your potential? All right. What can you achieve? And then the next thing you need to ask yourself is, what percentage of your potential are you currently using? Of all the things you could do, for some of you, there's a script writer buried in you that has not yet come out. Okay? For others, there's this leader there that has not yet come out because of fear, because of insecurity. for some of you. So there is so much buried in there. Some people say 90% of the population never utilize their potential. And they actually even found out that people like Einstein and like the high IQ people only use 14% of their brain. Then the rest of us mere mortals. Miles Monroe loved to say that the graveyard is the richest place in the world because buried in the graveyard are books that were not written, songs that were not sung, inventions that were never created, stories that were never written, countries that were never conquered. Probably in a grave today is the cure for cancer, the cure for AIDS that was never realized. Maybe in a grave somewhere in Accra is what would have turned the economy of Ghana around. Maybe in a grave somewhere in Timbuktu lies potential that was supposed to clean up the church in Africa. So the question is, what potential do you have? And what are you bringing to the table of life and to the world? Then the third question is, why am I here? Okay? You could have been born in any country in the world. Okay? You could have been born in any country in the world. Okay. Alisa has put something in the chat which I think is important. What can I do? She says, what do people often praise me for? What? Okay. Okay, she said, okay, I'm getting that. I'll come to the chats. I'll come to the chat later. If it's something if you have a question or something, just put it in there and help me out. So from what can you do? The other question is, why am I here? Why was I born in this country? Sometimes, instead of being so keen on the fastest way you can run out of this country, you need to ask yourself, if I believe God does not make mistakes and he puts me at the right place and the right time for the right seasons, why was I born in Ghana? To get a visa to go to America. Why was I born in this generation? Some days I love to fantasize and tell myself that maybe I should have been born in the periods of Shaka the Zulu or something where things were different. But I could have been born in the season of Shaka the Zulu. I could have been born in the season of Khan. I could have been born during the Roman Empire. I could have been born in Japan. I could have been born anywhere. But I was born into Ghana in this generation for this time. Why? Why am I here? Why this generation? I could have been born to any parents. Why was I born to these specific parents? Because the more you begin to embrace why I am here, the better you are able to utilize yourself. It means that there's a certain skill set that you needed, and only the two parents you came out of could have given you that skill set. Then the next thing is, why these experiences? You need to be able to catalog your experiences. Because a lot of time, out of your pain comes resources to help the people you are called to. Okay? So these are things that you need and you are going to have to document that are going to help you become someone who understands their purpose much better. Why was I born in Tamale? Why was I born to Agnes and Samuel Mogri? Why was I born into a family that ended up splitting up? Father one way, mother one way. Why did I go to the boarding house at a young age? Why did I grow up with all these different experiences? Why is my mindset the way it is? And as I began to look at that, I realized that all of these experiences were a training ground for what I am supposed to do. Why am I a Mamprusi man? I could have been an Ashanti, I could have been a Ga, I could have been Yoruba, I could have been anything. And now that I'm even going deeper into my lineage, I'm realizing that I'm not only, I'm not Mamprusi, yes, by that, but I have Mamprusi blood in me. I have Moshi blood in me. I actually even found out that my great grandfather was actually a slave being taken to the shores, and he was bought by a family who did not have a child, and that's how come he was kept in that town. And then he became the first son of the family because he was adopted. So even though they say Kusasi, actually he was a Moshi man that had been captured from Burkina Faso. So if that is in the lineage, all of that is in there. The question is why? Until you embrace your why, you will keep running away from your shadows. You need to recognize the fact that you are not a mistake, and all the things that you've been through and all the things that you go through and where you are positioned, all of those are things that equip you to live out your purpose. And they are not things you are supposed to run away from. Why am I here? And all these three questions are great, but if you can't answer the next question, then there's also a challenge. Okay? Where am I going? Where am I going? Where will I be in 10 to 15 years from now? How will life turn out for me based on the choices I'm making? And this is one of the things that keeps me up at night sometimes. What will I be remembered for when I'm dead and gone? When I'm gone, my children are gone, and let's even say my grandchildren are gone, will I be remembered? Is there anything I'm going to leave behind that is still going to make the world a better place? That's one of the reasons why I believe in writing books and creating content. Where am I going? Major questions. All right. Okay. Any thoughts? If you have a thought or with what I have just said, if there's any thought, drop it in the chat right now. Just type it out in the chat and I'll see if I can read it out. I'll see if I can read it out. If you have a thought or a question, we're going to take a short break. So we went to 3 questions. Who am I? What can I do? Why am I here? What will I be remembered for? These are major questions that you need to reflect on. Okay. Let me give you each of you have 5 minutes to put your answers in the chats. I'm going to give you 5 riddles. Please, can we see my screen now?
Yes, please.
All right, so there are 5 riddles here. Riddle number 1. I want to get the mind working. What has to be broken before you can use it? Riddle number 2. You see me once in June, twice in November, but not at all in May. What am I? Riddle number 3. What has keys but can't open locks? Riddle number 4. What can travel around the world while staying in the corner? And riddle number 5. I'm not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I? So we're going to try your best. Your answer doesn't have to be right. We're going to take 5 minutes, put your answers in the chat, and we will be back. Okay. Let's get our answers. Everybody put your answers in the chat. Riddle number 1 was, what has to be broken before you can use it? Okay. So people said number 1 is an egg. I hope you didn't go Googling it. And an egg is right. An egg has to be broken before you. Don't think too far. So number 1, what has to be broken before you can use it? The answer is an egg. Number 2, you see me once in June, twice in November, but not at all in May. What am I? The answer is the alphabet E. Once in June, twice in November. So that it was staring right at you. What has keys but can't open locks? The answer is a piano or a keyboard, which is right. What can travel around the world while staying in a corner? That one, not too many people got it, but the answer is a postage stamp on a letter. It stays in the corner of it. And the last one, I am alive, but I grow. I'm not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I? The answer is fire. So Dasa was able to get number 5, fire, number 3, keyboard. Pearl said E, eggs, keyboard, or key soap. All right, didn't get number 4, but fire. That's okay. Sandra got egg for 1. Emanuela got egg, the letter E, piano, a stamp, and fire. Sandra came back with keyboard and a computer. Okay, and fire. All right. So for the rest of you that did not attempt it, I'm now going to call you by name since you didn't attempt anything. Should I call you by name or I should show mercy? All right. So we are all welcome back. We are all welcome back from this little brain teaser to get our minds at the right place. Okay. So I'm going to go on with my sharing. Okay. I need to do this first. That's great. So I now want to just briefly talk about 5 principles of purpose, and then we'll jump into how to discover your purpose. 5 principles of purpose. Number 1, nothing in life is without a purpose. Okay? Nothing in life is without a purpose. You need to remember that. If you look at nature, we are in the Harmattan. You know there's a purpose to Harmattan. Can someone please tell me one of the purposes to Harmattan? Let's do a pop quiz. Anyone? Anyone can unmute themselves and tell me a purpose to Harmattan. We've entered the Harmattan season. What is the purpose of Harmattan? Please, am I alone? Can people even hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, so you can. Is the answer you don't want to give me?
Okay, so let me try.
Okay.
Okay, so during COVID, we heard one of the reasons why COVID did not really survive here is because of harsh weather conditions. So I want to believe Harmattan also probably kills some the hotness in it or the dryness helps kill some diseases and infections.
Okay. Anyone wants to suggest something else? Let me give you a hint. It's linked to agriculture. Okay. Okay, let me check and see if there's an answer in the chats. Someone says it helps some animals to reproduce like human beings. All right. Harmattan brings very dry weather, and it comes right after the harvest season. It helps in the preservation of a lot of the crops because they dry well. So if you realize, right after the rainy season, we go into harmattan. So harmattan in itself also has a purpose. All right. That's just by the way. But snakes have a purpose for pest control. There was a particular town, I think it was a town in either Australia or so, where they had a lot of snakes, and they felt like we are tired of the snakes. So they started killing all the snakes. When they finished killing the snakes, the rat and mice population boomed, and it destroyed all of their harvest because the snakes were killing the mice. So in as much as they saw it as a pest, snakes have a purpose. Even the hair in your nose has a purpose. For some of you, when you go to the barber, you get them to scrape everything out. The hairs in your nose block particles and keep them from getting into your respiratory system. Your eyebrows have a purpose. For those of you who shave off your eyebrows, the ladies, your eyebrows protect the eye, that whatever is coming, whether it's sweat, water from the top, or dust, it does not go directly into your eye. Look at your eyebrows. It's directed to the sides of your eye to protect it. So if all of these things have a purpose, how much more you? So everything in life has a purpose. Number two, not every purpose is known. Linking it to number one. When we don't know the purpose of something, we tend to abuse it. I say all the time, if you have a 2-year-old in your home or a 1-year-old in your home and you handed to that child an iPhone, what's the latest iPhone that's out there?
15 Pro Max.
Okay, so if you handed to your child an iPhone 15 Pro Max and the child is 1 year old, can someone tell me what the child would do to it? Anybody?
Smash the screen.
Smash the screen, use it as a hammer, throw it into water, pull it into their bathtub, anything. Please, someone needs to mute themselves. It could be anything, but when the fact that something has a purpose does not mean that the purpose is known. So let's remember that. Then brings us to the third thing that we need to know. When purpose is not known, abuse takes place. When purpose is not known, abuse will always take place. People who do not know their purpose abuse it themselves. If you've read Oprah Winfrey's biography, she was a friendly person when she did not know her life's purpose. She was sleeping around with everybody and anything, got pregnant at the age of, was it 13 or 16, and so on. So you need to realize that when purpose is not known, abuse takes place. All right? Brings us to number 4 and 5. Purpose requires divine assistance to achieve it. For the fulfillment of your purpose, you need divine assistance. Your purpose is normally supposed to be something so big that you really do need assistance to get it achieved. Then number 5, purpose is key to your fulfillment. Okay? Purpose is key to your fulfillment. Since we just took a break, I want us to do an activity. How many are we on the call now? Hey, where do I see it?
Yeah, 19, including you.
Okay, so that makes us, so 19 divided by 2. Okay, so let's make it 18 divided by 2 is 9. All right. So I'm going to split us up into 9 groups. That means you are going to be 2 per group. Okay? So, okay, so one group will have to be, so instead of 9, I'm going to split us up into 8 groups. If you're more than 2 in a group, that's fine. I want you to tell the person, we can't do all the 4 questions, but I want you to tell the person you are paired with in the group all the things you are capable of, basically your potential. Assume they are the person at the ship's door and they are asking you, unless you tell me what you can do differently from other people, I'm not taking you onto this ship and you will die. So to save your life, you are going to tell the person that you are paired with at least 5 things that you can do that no one else does well, or 5 things that you do very well. It's going to be fun. Please make it fun. Please don't be shy. I'm using the app to allocate people to the room. So yeah. So you're not choosing rooms. Automatically, we are assigning you to rooms, and we have 7 minutes in all of these rooms. So some of you will be 3 in a room, some of you will be 2 in a room, but please do enjoy yourselves in these rooms. I'm opening the groups now. We have 7 minutes. You are explaining to the person what your potential is, what you are capable of doing. So please join your groups now. If you don't join your group, your partner is going to be sitting in the group without anybody. So please join. Dasa, you need to join your group. Pearl, you need to join your group. Foresight, you need to join your group. Sheba, you have someone waiting in the group for you, so you need to join your group. Anyone else? Edem, you need to join your group, please. So let me see, is it? I want to be sure if everybody has a group. Okay. Daniel, Foresight, you need to join your group, please. Where's your partner? Is your partner has not joined yet?
Yeah, I'm the only one here.
Okay, so I will be your partner.
Hey!
So tell me. Okay, no, I have someone here. Selim, come sit and talk with her. Come and sit in this group. Let my aide join you so that it won't be 7 minutes. No, sit in.
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah. So I believe you go first, right?
No, you have to start.
No, you have to start because I just joined
Oh.
you.
No, so he asked us to talk about ourselves and what.
Yeah, our strengths are.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, so I'm listening to you.
Okay, so my strength. I'm very good with kids. I'm very good with handling kids. Apparently, I'm a teacher in the children's ministry.
Okay.
And I think I've been a teacher in the children's for about 14 years now.
Wow.
So that's what I've been doing for some time now. So I think at first I wasn't able to stand in front of people to communicate with them because I was
Okay.
having this kind of fear. But ever since I joined the children's ministry, I think any age, if I'm given the platform, I can stand and be able to voice out anything I've been asked to do. I have my weaknesses. Let's say I can't stand embarrassment.
Okay.
Yes, I can't stand embarrassment at all.
So
So anything I'm asked to do, I try to put in my best and to give out my best. So I think that's one strength that I can always boast of.
oh, okay.
Yes.
So that's the only one, or you still have more? Because he said we should give like 5.
Oh, 5.
Yeah, but you can add maybe 2 more and then.
Okay, maybe when I say one, you also say one.
Okay, so the first one is I'm very good at convincing people. Yeah, like if someone is to make a decision and then he asks for my advice, I just say a little bit of things and then the person is okay. And then when the person follows it, he or she ends up like feeling cool or relaxed about the decision that they made. So that's so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And your second?
You said you give one and I give one. So you agree? You are the next person.
Another strength. Maybe I might be good at doing certain things, but I don't know whether maybe they are my strengths or no. I don't know. But
yeah, so actually what he said is that
one thing I know about me is if you give me a task and I agree to do that particular task for you, I give out all my best. But if you force that particular thing on me, you won't get me to do it for you. I'll do it, but maybe it wouldn't be something that I'm going to do it because I just want to do it for you. But if I agree to do it, I give out my utmost best.
Okay.
That's one particular thing about me, yes.
So let's just take it that you are good at what you do based on your free will.
Yes, based on my free will. So don't force me to do something. Let me do it willingly. But if you force me, I won't give out my best. Yes.
Oh, okay. So my second one is I pick up very fast when it comes to, let's say, I'm a student nurse. Okay. And then when we go to the field or the hospital, I'm my level and then the seniors over there, it looks like I've been in the institution for a long time before them. Because they teach the way they teach and then ask us to do this, to do that. I do it more than the seniors themselves. So they feel like, no, this guy isn't supposed to be at this level.
Okay,
so
maybe supposed to be ahead of them.
Yes. When you teach me this is how the thing should go, I go exactly as it is.
Oh, okay.
And I don't mind trying the first time, even if let's say you have to give blood transfusion and they assign you to do it. Most people will dodge it, but I don't mind. I try to do it. I go first because I've seen how it's been done. So that
I think that's because you set your mind to do it.
Exactly.
That's because set your mind to do it. So
yes.
Similar, like if you ask, you have been asked to do something because you have set your mind to do that particular thing, you give out your utmost best to do it.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
So that it's kind of similar with yours.
Yes. Yeah. I think it should be with everyone because if you force someone to do something, I don't think you get the best results you want from that person.
But you know, some people too also do well with pressure.
No, me, I can't stand pressure.
So everyone and then
I want to give myself the own pressure, but someone shouldn't give me pressure, but I should get the pressure. I should give myself the pressure, but not a third party give me the pressure.
Yeah, okay. The reason why I'm saying that is that some people, they feel relaxed. They keep postponing. So if you keep pressuring the person, when the person sees your call or sees your text, the person is prone to, no, I have to do this before, so that to stop the person from still calling or worrying me. You understand? So that's some people, that's how they flow. They want to be pressured before they do what they are supposed to do.
They do what they are being asked to do.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So far that's 2 points, right? Or 3?
Yeah, I think it's okay. Or do you have any more to add?
My last one is I'm very friendly and then like I easily make friends. I'm an extrovert, so I easily mingle around with people.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So even
But
if
me
you don't.
at the point, if I'm being welcomed at where I am, why not?
Oh, okay.
I'll just open up. If I'm welcome at where I am, I'll just open up.
But if you're not welcome
Yes, but
there,
if I'm not welcome there, I'll be reserved.
so that's okay. But for me, that's the opposite. Even if the place is a little bit dull, when I come inside, I try to bring more light into the place to make
okay.
yeah.
Even if you don't know the people.
Yeah, even if I don't know the people, I try to I study and see the one that, like, anyone that is kind of like let's say it's lively. Someone that doesn't take things too personal. Then I
okay, then
observe
maybe
and then
share
I
with that
bring
person.
myself. Yeah, exactly. Then before you know it, it spreads around. So that's my kind of, yeah. That's also my.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right. So since you
I
said
think
you
we are
don't
good
have,
to go.
you are good to go, right? So we'll stick with the 3. Okay.
Okay.
I didn't mention my name. I'm Selon, by the way.
I'm Jifa.
Oh, okay. Okay. So then that makes us Ewe couples, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then we'll talk later then.
Sure.
Yeah.
Nice talking to you.
The host is back.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to leave this group and then go and stop everybody.
Okay, Doc.
Okay, we are back. Sandra, who were you paired with in your group?
Please, I was paired with Paulina and Dasa.
So there are few spaces left on the ship to go, and you hold the key. What did Dasa say he brings to the table?
Okay, he said he's attentive to details and he does things orderly.
He's an orderly person.
Yes, please. And he said he's careful in choosing his words, when to say it, how to say it. So he's more selective.
Okay.
And the third thing he mentioned is that he's thoughtful. And the fourth was that he's careful about self-criticism and criticizing of others. So these were the 4.
Okay. How about Paulina? So based on what he said, would you let him on the ship? You have only 100 spaces. Is that good enough?
Maybe I'll wait with the others to see.
Okay, what did Paulina say?
Paulina says that she loves taking a risk.
Okay.
Provided she knows, even if she's not fully aware of its benefits, but knows that it can be somehow helpful to herself and others. She's ready to take a risk.
Okay.
And that she takes a lot of initiative, more like a pace setter. She's first to act on so many things and others will later come on board. And the third thing she said was that she learns very fast, even within a limited time or even under pressure. She's able to learn very fast. And that she said she's also self-motivated. That
she was really campaigning to get on the ship, eh?
Yes. That she would usually not wait for somebody to bring her a word or a quote, but she's really self-motivated. And she
Okay,
says she's also very social.
that's amazing. All right. Queenie, who are you paired with?
Emanuela.
Okay, and what did she say she brings to the table?
So she can easily transcribe audios. She can memorize things easily. And then she's also able to write stories spontaneously. I think she mentioned the fourth one, but I've forgotten exactly what she said. But that's the three I can remember.
And what did you tell her you bring to the table?
So I told her that I can easily combine different ingredients to make a different meal altogether, something that you've not seen before. Then
Okay.
then I also told her that I am able to easily resolve conflict among people. And then I'm task oriented. That is, I'm able to carry any task that is within my capability very well. So far as it's within my capability, I'm able to perform best at it. Then the final thing I told her too was that I'm able to memorize things easily. When it comes to verbatim, dear, I can say things very well.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was it.
Last team, I can't do everybody. So Josephine. Is Josephine with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Who are you paired with?
Who are you paired with? Oh, I forgot her name more.
Please, who was paired with
Who was
Josephine?
paired with Josephine?
Please unmute yourself and remind her of who you are. It
Pearl,
was Pearl.
yes.
Okay. So,
Yes.
Josephine, what did Pearl say she brings to the table that you are going to let her onto the ship? What potential does she have that the world needs?
Right. So Pearl shared with me that she's a motivator. She's able to motivate people onto doing a particular task. Then she's really creative as well. And then she's a team player. She's able to work well with others to get any target achieved. And also she's able to learn new things. She loves learning new things. So those were the 5 things she shared with me.
Okay, that's great. We are gradually refining it. Hopefully, as you dig deeper, you'll be able to go further with when we talk about the potential that you have. And I would also advise that you get material and books that really teaches you on how to assess your potential. Because for some of you that I do know personally, there are things I assumed you would mention and you haven't. So I'm wondering, don't you know that's one of your greatest potential? But we'll see. Okay. All right. So yes. So now we come to how to identify your purpose. How to identify your purpose. Okay. First of all, let me just give you some facts. Let me just give you some facts that you need to know. All right. Number one, your purpose, should be simple to explain. If you cannot explain your purpose to a 7-year-old child, then you yourself, you are confused about it. Okay? So when you finally discover your purpose, in 2 or 3 sentences, you should be able to explain what is going on. All right? Number 2, you need to understand that the details of your purpose will be revealed in phases. So you may know your broad purpose in life is to bring, let me give an example. So your life's purpose, as a few of you brought that up, your life's purpose may be to help and specifically empower young girls, young abused girls. That may be your life's core purpose. All right? Aspects of it will be revealed in phases. Okay? Aspects of it will be revealed in phases. When discovered, it will consume you. That's true. These tips I'm about to share are signposts, and it won't be simple, but requires hard work to finally come to the point where you have your purpose statement put together. All right. So, steps to discover your purpose. Number one, take a tally of your specifications. In order to know what your purpose is, you need to make a long list of your talents, your strengths, your temperaments, and your weaknesses. Okay? Now, one of the things you should do whenever you do the temperament test is look at the strengths of your dominant personality and look at the weaknesses of your dominant personality. And if you can also do an enneagram where you know if you are an 8 or you are a 7 or you are a 3, these are very helpful in you being able to see where your purpose is taking you. Because you need to understand something. God will not give you a purpose he will not equip you for. Just like a fish was not given wings, but it was given fins and gills because it had to swim. A cactus has to exist in the desert, and it was given thorns. It was not given leaves. It was given a hard bark that is able to convert, do the whole chlorophyll thing. All right. A bear that is supposed to be in Antarctica has been given white wool, thick skin, an ability to swim, an ability to be waterproof. In the same way, as you begin to tally your specifications, it will start to be very clear the area you are called to or the area that your purpose is in. Please, are you understanding me on this one?
Yes, please.
Please, come on camera. Let me see faces. I want to be sure I'm not losing anyone on this point. So what I'm trying to say is that on your journey to discover what your purpose is, you need to be certain what you are capable of doing, and that is taking stock of yourself. Do you understand me?
Please.
Let me put it this way. It is not likely you are called to lead. Your purpose is to lead on a global stage if your temperament is built for support. It's not likely. I'm not saying it's not likely. So as you begin to catalog what you have, you gradually begin to realize that I've been equipped to do these kind of things and not these kind of things. So it is most likely that my purpose is somewhere in an intersect between my talents, my weaknesses, all the things of my temperament, all these things I've mentioned. As you catalog them, you will begin to realize what you are equipped to do. Josephine, am I making sense?
Yes, please.
And you see, Sheba, are you with us? Now I'm calling people out. Those who have been too quiet. So what you need to recognize is that you need to make a comprehensive list, not a rushed list, not a list on what you aspire or what you admire, a list on who you are. Do we follow? Because if you are not true to yourself, you will be lying to yourself. So yes, you may aspire to be, you may want to say, oh, I don't want to use examples that push people into corners, but you may say, oh, maybe because you admire people who have a great attention to detail, but that does not mean that is your talent or is your strength or your skill. So you don't put that down when you don't have it. Please, are we following? I'm really trying to explain this first step as we go on.
Yes, please, you are.
Great. So what we are doing, the first thing we are doing is that we are ensuring that we are looking at our talents, our strengths, our temperament, and our weakness. Take stock of yourself. Why did God fit you with these specific traits? Why did God fit you with these specific traits? What are the weaknesses that needs to be fixed? What new information do you need? Okay. Let me give you an example. I knew perfectly well that in as much as I like helping people and like building people up, based on the fact that I'm squeamish and I can't stand the sight of blood and I don't like seeing sick people, I knew perfectly well that the medical field was not one of the vehicles for me to achieve my purpose. Plain and simple. Are you with me?
Yes,
Based
please.
on my inability to, I love children. I don't have patience for children, especially children under 7. Okay. So I know perfectly well that my purpose is not directly related to children. Please, are you following? As you begin to look at your specifications, you will realize that there are things that it starts to become quite clear. Even if I'm not certain of my purpose, at least I know it's not this, and I know it's not this, and I know it's not this. So if it's not A, it's not B, it's not C, most likely it falls within the domain of one of these things. So that's the first thing we are doing. We are taking stock. The second thing we are doing all right? The second thing we are doing is that look for that instinctive spark. Look for that instinctive spark. There are certain things that when you start doing or you think about, you come alive. Look, put down a seed for 100 years. The day you pour a little bit of water on the seed, it begins to germinate. Drop a fish into a pond, it begins to swim. I saw a video one time of a lady who had a pet duck. And you can look up that video. And she had kept the pet duck at home, and then she brings it out. One of these are Caucasian sisters, and she says, today I'm introducing my pet to the river for the very first time. And she puts the duck in the river. It's a baby duck, and the duck takes off. It's the first time the duck is in the river, and the duck is off. The duck never comes back again because it has hit water. You need to ask yourself, what things that when I do, I suddenly come alive? The other things are a burden, are a chore, but when I start doing this particular thing, I could do it for 1,000 years and not get tired. That's an indication of where your purpose lies. And then I love to ask this question. Now, imagine with me for a moment, okay? Please imagine with me for a moment. If let's say, okay, of all the people here, let's say Daniel organizes a coup tomorrow in Ghana. He takes over the country and he says, I've organized a coup. From today, everybody between the ages of 20 to 60 are going to be paid the same amount of money. Whether you are a doctor, you are a laborer, you are a carpenter, you are a lawyer, whatever job you do, a scientist, you're going to be paid the same amount of money. And we are giving you 1 week. If you don't like the job you are doing currently, you can switch to any job you want. Same pay. My question is, what job would you do? Please, are you listening to these questions?
Yes.
These are the signposts that you are supposed to be looking out for. If money was not an issue, and you could, okay, let's even be more positive. Let's say tomorrow, you find out that you have a long-lost auntie who was living in Germany and was married to one of the major shareholders of VW, and she's passed away, and she's left her entire estate that is worth about $1 billion USD to you after tax. And now you don't have to work for money. What would you do? Give me some more water. What instinctively will you think of doing that makes you happy? That often is a signpost to where your purpose is. That is a signpost to where your purpose is. Number 3, what problems irritate you the most? What problems irritate you the most? Let me explain. You see, what irritates you is often an indication of what you are called to. Think about it for a moment. Let me give you an example. Last week, I can't remember which day it was, probably Sunday or something. I went on a date with my wife. We went to a nice restaurant we like visiting. And when we got there, we realized that all the waiters were dressed nicely. They had this matching attires and they were looking really nice. But I also realized that all the waiters looked new. So we sat down for our meal. The guy came to take our order and I asked him, I said, don't you think you should come with a pen and a paper to write down stuff because you may forget? He said, oh, no, boss. I'll keep it in my head. He messed up the order. And as I was sitting there, I realized that when people eat, sometimes they've left, the waiter doesn't come to clean up on time. So I will call the waiter and say, won't you clean up that table? And she comes and she's cleaning up that table. When she's leaving, she leaves the cleaning detergent on it. And then they've rushed to another place and they were all over the place. I began to itch. My wife said it. She was like, you've checked out. Because I was beginning to run through the mistakes they were making. And I was imagining, since they don't have people coming in the morning, why are they not holding trainings for all the waiters in the morning? Then while sitting there, I began to put together a training schedule I would have given the restaurant for how I would have brought them together, how I would have trained them, what we would have done, and how we would have gone about it. And I was lost in my mind solving the problems of a restaurant I don't own. Because instinctively, my purpose is around leadership and getting things done well. So when you begin to look at the things that you quickly irritate you, for instance, if we all walk down the streets of whichever city we are in, someone whose core purpose is around women immediately begins to notice the underage prostitutes that are standing by the roadside. Okay? I am looking at it and asking myself, why didn't the engineers, the contractor who did this road did not do it properly? Because a road like this would need a 3-lane, and 4 years from now, looking at the traffic, this is where it's supposed to be. The person whose purpose is somewhere around children immediately is looking at, oh, we don't even have any, we don't have any schools in this area. So the things that quickly get to you are often an indication of where that spark that has been put in you and directing you towards where you are supposed to be. Okay? I like beautiful things, but I don't care much for decor. So the problems that irritate you are often a signpost to where your purpose lies. Please, as I'm talking about these things, you are gradually beginning to realize why I'm saying being a pastor is not your calling, being a doctor is not your calling, being a this, because we can have 4 doctors that will see 4 different things in the same hospital. One is frustrated by the lack of administration. One is frustrated by the fact that they don't have baby-friendly centers. Another one is frustrated by the work-life balance because doctors are unable to have time for their families. Another one is frustrated by the fact, so they are all doctors, but they are frustrated by different things in the same place because there is this spark in them that zeroes in on a particular thing and often forgets about all the other things. That's a signpost. All right? Bruno, are you still with us?
Yes, please, I'm here.
Great. Obi, are you still with us?
Yeah, yes, please, I'm out.
Patty, are you here with us?
Yes, please.
Okay, that's great. Good. So that brings me to the next one. Update your software. Sometimes the reason you're confused about it just means get more information. The more information you have about life, okay? The more information you have about life, history, and purpose, the easier it is to see what your life's purpose is. You follow? The more information you have, the easier it is for you to see some things. Since most of the people here are Christian, when I look through it, everybody here is a Christian. Let me ask a question. If you look at those who have discipled and won a lot of people to Christ in the last 30 years, mention maybe your top 5 names. Mention one name each. Everybody mention one name that quickly comes to mind. Hey, my people.
If I didn't get the question.
When we talk about the greatest evangelists over the last 10, 20, 30 years, which names come to mind when we talk about evangelists?
Pastor Chris.
Reinhard Bonnke.
Reinhard Bonnke. Catherine Coleman.
Billy Graham.
Billy Graham. We have a lot of spiritual people here. Doug Heward Mills. Sorry?
Bill Bright.
Ben Bright. Okay. Then now, if we look at current living men of God or people in ministry, who do you think are among the top 10 of winning people to Christ?
Bishop Ajenasari.
Bishop Ajenasari.
Istudanaba.
Istudanaba. Okay, can I surprise you people with some information? How many of us have heard of John C. Maxwell?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have.
He's a leadership expert. John C. Maxwell used to be a pastor. He was a pastor for 10 years. Then he resigned from being a pastor and started the John C. Maxwell Leadership Institute. And he became a coach that goes around the world coaching people in leadership. And most of Christendom came against him because they said he has lost his calling. He's selling out for money. The John C. Maxwell Institute over the last 20 years, in their conferences and their follow-ups, have led over 1 million people to Christ. Wow. More than most crusades out there. And what do? They run leadership conferences, and they always have this little thing they say, we've run it for the week. If you are confused about life, tomorrow I'll be sitting at the bar with a few people. You can come, we'll have drinks, and I'll talk to you about some other things I couldn't mention on this stage. And they have had over 1 million commitments to Christ. They have gone into countries that don't allow Christianity, like Bahrain and other places, and they have been able to do that through the vehicle of leadership training. Foresight, you need to mute yourself. So so when we talk about updating your information, if you are not careful, you are going to see your purpose in certain pockets of all that you know and believe that I can only achieve my purpose in this particular way. But the more information, the more you read, the more you listen, the more you examine things, you will begin to realize that my purpose actually could be here and not there. So when we talk about evangelists, you are not going to mention John C. Maxwell's name, but he's one of the people that's making major impact. Here we go. So that is why I talk about the fact that one of the ways you are going to be able to discover your purpose is when you begin to do more in that regard, when you begin to invest more in updating your software. Okay? The fifth tool you need in identifying your purpose is you need to invest in reading, especially in reading the biographies of great people. You can't totally and completely come to an understanding of your purpose if you are not a committed reader. Reading expands your perspective, it inspires you, clarifies your values and beliefs, and stimulates your self-reflection. So another major tool you need as you go looking to discover and put your purpose together is your ability to read. Number 6, you are going to need a mentor. In your quest to know your life's purpose, you are going to have a mentor. If you don't have a mentor, that's a big problem. If you don't have, maybe another day I'll talk about how to pick a mentor, but I'm pretty certain I have a video on YouTube about mentoring. I've spoken about it before, how to pick a mentor. I need to look. If I find it, I'll share a link. Okay. So number 6 is you need to find a mentor. Number 7, you need to place yourself in the right environment. You need to place yourself in the right environment. You can only grow in the area of knowing your purpose if you are surrounded by the right people and you have the right environment. So here we are. I'm going to pause now for questions, and then we'll do the last bit, and then we will be done. So I've given you 7 steps on how to discover your purpose. Questions? You raise your hand, I'll give you permission to speak. Dasa, please go ahead.
Yeah, hello, Doc, can you please touch on the irritation, what irritates you, the problem which irritates you most, that leads to how you discover your purpose? I didn't really get that point because you said that it's really tied to knowing your purpose, really tied to that. When you cited the example at the restaurant you went and you were thinking, oh, mostly it's in the evening that the place is busy, and why can't you have training? And you realize that because you're into coaching and you have been organizing training, you got to know that, oh, you are in that field, that's your purpose. So I didn't really get you were trying to make a point that the things that irritate you most are where you discover your purpose, something like that. I didn't really get that point. If you can explain it further.
Okay, let me explain it again. Most of the people who we believe lived out their purpose were irritated by something and they did their best to solve the problem. We were all under British rule. The fact that we are under British rule irritated Kwame Nkrumah so much and the Big Six so much that they were willing to dedicate their lives to make sure we had independence. Were they the only people in Ghana at that time? No. All right. So what you need to ask yourself is, what problem is it that when I see, it gets to me so much that I go to bed thinking about it, I wake up thinking about it. I'm not talking about petty problems in your life and I don't like this person, or I'm not talking to this person. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that particular thing that when you see anywhere, you itch. Now, I use the example of the restaurant. It may have been a bad example, but what I was trying to carry across is, it just reminded me that leadership, my purpose is in the area of leadership. And whenever I see poor leadership, I get upset. Okay? I get more upset about poor leadership than I get upset about a child on the street. It is not same for someone else. Probably someone like Edem, she's more concerned about a child on the street than if the place is well organized. Are you following? So what I'm trying to explain is that you will realize that not petty irritations, but fundamental things that do not work for you and irritate you are often an indication of what you are called to, because you are called to solve problems. Okay? You are called to solve problems. Your purpose is in the area of solving problems and bringing solutions to a particular sphere of life. And what irritates you is a good indicator, not the only indicator, but a good indicator. Have I explained it a little bit better?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Opoku,
Thank
your
you,
hand
sir.
is up.
Yes, please. So my question is, what's the difference between purpose and calling?
What's the difference between your purpose and your calling?
Yes, please.
Some people use it interchangeably. I've refrained from using it because most people believe that your calling can only be utilized within the walls of the church. But others also believe that outside the walls of the church, that is their calling. I would say that, for instance, if you said, my life's calling is, I don't like using my life's calling because it has been so used religiously that I think it takes an essence of it out. So that's why I'm not using purpose and calling interchangeably. Because when you use calling, for instance, even within church circles, I'm called one of my callings is a teacher. All right. Some have an apostolic calling. That is more within the Christian setting. So I prefer to say purpose is totally the reason you were born, the reason you have certain giftings, the problems you were created to solve. Calling is used a lot more with regards to church work. But some people interchange it and say, my life's calling is to do this, and they are referring to their purpose. Have I made any sense?
Yes, please.
Okay. Still taking questions.
Please, I'm fundamental.
Sorry, let's go to Foresight. He had his hand up. Let's go to Foresight first.
Thank you, Doctor. Okay, please, with regards to your answer to Dasa about what irritates us mostly indicates our purpose. I realized whilst growing up, there were certain things that were irritating me a lot. And I used to criticize about a lot of things. Later, I said to myself, it's becoming more of like I'm criticizing about those things. So I stop them. So I want to know where to maintain the balance, because if most of the things that really irritate us, we criticize them. I vividly remember certain things that I used to write them, and they are still in my books where I criticize about them. But now that I'm now knowing more about my purpose, I've realized that those things that I was criticizing about, as you are saying, are indicators of my purpose. But where do you maintain the balance about it? Thank you.
Can you give me an example of the things that irritated you when you were young?
Okay, so I remember one thing that used to irritate me was going to sit in a church, and after the service, I don't know what they've taught me. Like, I've gone to church, we dance, we do everything. The pastor has preached, but after I come home, I don't know what actually I've learned. I sometimes wrote in my book that the church should stop investing in their structures to invest in their members. These were somewhere 2016 thereabouts. But I wrote this thing that the church should stop investing in their structures, in buildings, organizing programs to invest in people. So I think that was one of the things I vividly remember.
Okay. And where else? Okay, so let me try and see if I can double down on this irritation, because a lot of questions are coming there. When we say what irritates you, it should be a thread that irritates you in other areas too. Let me give an example. When I spoke about being in a restaurant and the waiters not playing their roles well and me being irritated. When I get to the workplace and I realize that we are preparing to do a project and people didn't have a checklist before they came, it's a source of irritation. When I go to the basketball court to play basketball and I realize that, okay, one of the rims has a problem and we haven't gathered ourselves to say, how much does it cost to get the rim replaced? Can we contribute for that? I'm irritated by that. So there's a thread that cuts across the facets of life that I'm in, that I realize that lack of organization and lack of leadership puts me off. But when you zero in, I'm not talking about the fact where you've zeroed in on one particular area. If for instance, so I don't want us to get so fixated on, I don't like this particular thing in this small place, so that means that this is what I'm called to. I want you to understand that it's a theme of these kind of things get to me, or I notice these kind of problems. Can anyone explain? Maybe someone else needs to explain it a little better for others to understand. Probably my examples are not working. Is there anyone who feels they understand me and can explain it in their own words?
So please, doctor, from what you said, I think I'm getting it. Because like you said, I also remember some of the things that irritate me even whilst we are doing the service. When I go and then I see the in charges, like most of them don't know what they are doing, excuse my words. So I also wrote in my book that if one day maybe I have the opportunity, I won't allow leadership in the nursing profession to be of age, but we even vote to be who will be a leader. So I think, like you said, it wasn't just fixated on the church, but it was cutting across many other areas. Thank you.
Good. So, for instance, if I was doing one-on-one coaching with you, and we are trying to map out your purpose statement, I probably will ask you to go back and bring a list of 10 different times you found yourself irritated about different things. And once we put all of them on a whiteboard, you begin to see the common denominator there may be lack of good leadership or lack of visionary leadership. So then you are gradually seeing a problem you are supposed to solve. You get what I'm trying to say? All right.
Yes.
Okay, I see Fatih's hand up. Fatih, you can ask your question. Please, we have 10 more minutes for questions, so please make sure you put in your question early, okay?
My question is that you made mention of finding a mentor. What exactly would the mentor, what role would the mentor play in helping you find your purpose? Are you supposed to be asking your mentor questions, or can you directly ask your mentor what's your purpose is? Is that you being lazy about you finding your purpose?
Okay. So, first of all, you can have mentors for the different areas of your life, and then you can have, or you can find someone who is one mentor for every area of your life. You can purposely go out looking for mentorship and coaching to be able to refine and discover your purpose. So you go to somebody and you say, look, you are in this field. I want to be able to refine this whole thing about my purpose. Can we work together for the next 6 months? Sometimes it has to be paid mentorship. Sometimes it has to be relational mentorship. But sometimes you seek out someone who is strong in that field, and then the person now works with you one-on-one as you gradually go through the steps of reaching the point where you understand and can clearly define what your life's purpose is. So when I talk about mentorship, that's what I'm talking about. The reason why I was saying at the end of this, we are not going to be able to I'm not going to be able to point and say, okay, Sandra, your purpose is this, unless maybe I'm using word of knowledge. Daniel, your purpose is this, and so on. No. Then with all these tools and a few other tools, we sit down. What are your strengths? What comes to you easily? What irritates you? What, when you get to the end of your life, you realize you have achieved is going to make you happy. As you and the mentor sit opposite each other and you begin to work on it, they give you homework. Go look at the last 10 years of your life. What did you do within that period that gave you the most satisfaction? And when you look into the next 10 years of your life and you could dream anything, what do you think would properly make you happy in 10 years? As you are working through all of those things, gradually it's becoming clearer. So when I talk about mentorship, that's what I mean. Sandra, you have your hand up.
Yes, please. Please, my question is that I remember yesterday you made mention that purpose discovery, one way to zero down what your purpose is likely to be is to think that if your career is stripped of you, like just what can you do well? So then can you also say that in discovering of your purpose, because it's something that as it were nobody can take it away from you, in a sense that as it were, it's not a career you've gone to, a job you've gone to seek for, but something that is more like inbuilt, something with you. Can you say that on discovering your purpose, each and everyone is supposed to build like, I don't know if there's a niche around that particular thing in order to have like to dominate in that field? Should that always be the case that okay, I've discovered I have a unique ability to lead. So then maybe, or let's say in my case, I strongly believe I have an ability to assist. Should it always be the case that now I build a niche, something around it that becomes an area that I'm known for? Should that always be the case? So that as it were, I have something that it's not as though I'm going to seek employment from somewhere, but I'm living my life based on what I believe my purpose is.
Okay. I understand you. Let me give you an example that may help. A woman was awarded in the US recently, a couple of years ago, because she was a janitor, a cleaner in a particular public school. And what she used to do is that she always used to come in with snacks. And she gradually identified children that came from homes that poor homes, whose parents were not giving them breakfast before they came, and she was giving them snacks. Then she was now able to get clothes and toiletries in, and she was able to get some of the children who were in abusive homes to be able to take a shower and to do, before school starts. And Western schools are a bit more equipped. This is a janitor. And then before we realized, she now had, the school realized it, a couple of parents realized it, and she had stores where she now had racks of clothes, racks of food, racks of first aid and stuff that she was using to help children, but she was a janitor in the school. She wasn't a teacher in the school. She wasn't a nurse in the school. She wasn't the principal. Her purpose in life was she wanted to reach out to kids, young children, help them, give them a sense of belonging. And here she was in a position where she was a janitor. She wasn't allowing the fact that the job of a janitor has no relationship to. So she's finding a way, in as much as she's still cleaning the floors and cleaning up the place, this is what she's doing that is giving her fulfillment and helping her live it out. One of the things and that's why I really wanted us to clarify that it's not so much your career, but when you understand what your purpose is in, no matter the career you are in, you can find ways around it for that particular time to be able to still feel fulfilled and live out what you are supposed to do. Let me give you another example. Use myself as an example. When I really wanted to have raising leaders. So I got back from school after doing my master's and realized that I wasn't a pastor in my church. I really had not started working. I was working for myself at that time. I had a poultry farm, but I really wanted to I still felt like I wanted to raise leaders. One of the places that I knew I could raise leaders was in church. So I went to my pastor and I said, can I have the opportunity to interact with, I think it was 10 years to 14-year-olds. So what did I do? They gave them to me. I started holding sessions with them, giving them books, started inviting them to my home, feeding them, I went to almost all their schools to find out which schools they were in, got to know their parents, started tracking their school performance, did all I could do to try and keep them. Some of them are on this call. I was a poultry farmer at that point in time. Okay. Then what was the next thing I did? I realized Tamasco Secondary School was close to me. I went there, met with a few of the boys, and I said, if you come to my house every Saturday morning at 5 a.m., I'm willing to hold a book review with you about leadership and to help you guys out. I had 12 of them who were coming between 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. So, but the reason I could do that was I had clarity about the fact that my purpose is to raise leaders. My purpose is to raise leaders. My purpose in life is to raise leaders. So wherever I find myself, I am supposed to raise leaders. When I became a pastor of a church, we changed our church's internal vision statements to, we are raising leaders, because that is in line with my purpose. Now, I understand that my main purpose is to raise leaders in the area of leadership in three main areas: agriculture, family life, and in politics. Those are the three areas that I am called to. Those are the three areas I'm supposed to raise leaders. I know it. I've known it. I've clarified it, and I understand where I am. Whatever and wherever I find myself, when I was lecturing, I made sure I could find ways to live that purpose out. Now that I am pastoring, I'm finding ways to live that out. That's why we put together North Breeze Leadership Institute, which I registered about 13 years ago, and we've been doing leadership training. When we didn't have anybody to train, I would go to school for the deaf and tell them, if you will give me 4 hours, I'd like to train your deaf people in time management. I would go. So as you know what you are supposed to do, you realize that your job really doesn't matter. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Yes, in the workplace, you still will live out your leadership. I went in my research institute, I bring all the headsmen together. Once a month, I do leadership training for them about agriculture. How do we make sure the institute is better? What are your problems? How do we brainstorm? What are the weaknesses? Why? In that aspect, I'm living out my purpose. If you meet me in a bus and we sit together for 2 hours or 3 hours, by the time we are leaving, you've talked to me about your life. I am helping you in that regard to organize your life and put your life together and so on, simply because I know this is what I'm supposed to live out. So, for instance, if you said you feel, because with all of this, you may clarify it and realize that, okay, a bit of that is to be supportive. Supportive is in so many ways. Supportive actually means that you may, in a certain season of your life, you may become a performance coach. People come to you, you help them refine their performance that they can be the best version of themselves everywhere they are. So you may do some coaching badges to be able to go into performance coaching, which could help you out. So, but I don't know your profession, but that may not be the core profession that you do for a 9 to 5. And it may reflect in another way in church. It may reflect in another way in the workplace. So that's what we talk about. Have I made some sense?
Yes, please. I think it's much better. I get what you're saying. And please, I have a second question.
Can I take, is there a follow-up? If it's a second question, let me take Daniel's question and then I'll come back to you. Daniel says, what do you do when your current education and training doesn't help you fulfill your purpose? Daniel, can you explain it better?
What I mean is, you feel that this is your purpose. That's what God that's what you feel you are called to do, or you are here to do on earth. But then, growing up, sometimes you choose courses or you choose certain career paths based on the advice or information you had. So if at a point rather no, maybe let's say you have your purpose is to help in the area of finance, but your background doesn't have much, you don't have a strong background in finance. Maybe your background is more in medicine. How do you do that? Thank you.
So what I'm understanding is that you may have discovered your purpose and realized that you need additional skills to be able to live out the purpose that you have. That's why I talked about the 100-year revolution. There's time. God willing, you are not dying tomorrow. There's always, and education we are living in the information age where switching, learning new things, no matter what educational level you have and how old you are, is so easy now. If you ask this question probably in my father's time, where you have to post a letter and it takes 2 weeks for the letter to get to where it has to get to, and the person writes a reply, dear so-and-so, goes to buy a stamp, puts it on it and comes back, I would say it's a bit of a problem. But in today's world, you can learn almost everything and anything and acquire those skills. Okay? Then we must also realize that you don't always need certification to be able to do certain things. Sometimes you require certification for some things, but in the beginning, you can just work off the knowledge and books you have read as you gradually work yourself up to have more certification. So Have I answered you a bit?
Yes, that's okay.
Sandra, let's take your questions. And please, everybody, ask me your questions. No question is foolish. No question is bad. That's why I'm giving so much time. It's nearly 9. It's 9, actually. We will end in the next 5 minutes, and then I will still stay on for those who still want to talk. Sandra, so let's hear your question.
Yes, please. My second question was that talking about the things that irritate us as a pointer to what your purpose is likely to be. You did mention that we shouldn't look at personal grievances. And for some few people who I've heard talk about things that they are passionate about, a few of them seem to be, because they had been in that situation before and probably felt how bad or how terrible it was, seem to have this natural direction towards that area because they were in themselves, they felt and they knew how it was. So in answering the homework that was given, I felt that that some of the things in society I seem to have a grievance about. I mean, one of them is something that applies to me as well. But then I realized that I would usually, even as I pray for myself on that issue, I look at few people I know in a similar suit, and I don't only pray for myself, but I pray for people in that situation as well. So is it a good enough pointer as a way of also discovering your purpose, or it shouldn't be something that is related to you at all? Because I felt that for some of them, as I am praying for myself, I'll usually remember those people. And I also do prefer, I feel that it's not just personal, but it also cuts down to other people. So my question is that, is it a good enough pointer as an area to look?
Well, maybe one-on-one, I'll need a bit more clarity about it. But you see, one of the things that it's difficult to say you are the reason why we said you shouldn't use personal grievances is if you've not healed from personal grievances, you may be using it as a signpost when actually it is just trauma that is still speaking. So often, even for those who have gone through things and feel they want to help people who have gone through those things, if you haven't healed, you can't help anyone there. So it's important that, first of all, you recognize that, am I healed from this issue? If this issue doesn't trigger me any longer, but I still have a passion about it, then great. I may be heading in that direction. But if it is just still a trauma response you are having towards this particular thing, then I wouldn't necessarily think that that is a pointer that is your direct purpose. But we definitely would need a lot more detail and a lot more unpacking to be able to say that. Anyway, I still see some hands, but I also have to respect the time because we said we're going to close at 9 o'clock. So at least we need to officially close. And then I probably may still have a little bit more energy to say one or two things, or for people who have things to talk about after this. I sincerely want to say thank you for being a part of this. As I said, if in any way, shape, or form you feel after this that this is not what I wanted, please, we are giving a money back guarantee. So just reach out to the team and say that the money I loaned you, the money I loaned you for this cause, please, I want my money back. We will try. Foresight, can you please mute yourself? We will try to put up the videos by 28th. Christmas is coming up. I can't ask the team to work during Christmas, so by 28th thereabout, we should be able to put up the videos, and the notes will be sent to you for you to be able to do the best that you can do. I've tried to give, but it is such a broad topic. We will send a questionnaire around. If you'll be interested in doing a follow-up, a part 2 to this masterclass where we actually get a little bit more detailed, you can indicate in the questionnaire that we will send for you to fill. And can I have maybe 3 people give me their thoughts before we pray and we officially close? And then anyone who wants to chat can stay behind. So 3 people who have not spoken should at least tell me something they are taking away from these 2 days. If you haven't spoken, I will call you. Or you haven't spoken in the last 20 minutes, I'll call you. Any volunteers?
Okay, so can I start, please?
Yes, please.
Okay, yesterday was the big one for me to realize that my profession or my work is not necessarily, or is not my purpose in life. So, and today I've learned that there's a bit more work I have to do to finally arrive at the purpose, listing of my strengths and weaknesses, and to go through all the steps that we're going through. So, from here, that's where I'm going to see what will happen next. If I have to contact you again, then we'll see about that, please. Thank you.
Okay, that's great. Anyone else? We want at least 3 people. So we've had 2 more people. Hey. Okay, Pearl, talk. After Pearl, any, mini, miny, mo. After Pearl, Inyo will talk. Is Pearl still with us? Okay, Pearl is not here. Inyo. Please, can we all turn on our cameras? We want to take our last picture before we go.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I lost you for a bit, so I didn't get that the last bit you said.
I said we are coming to an end. Just tell me something you're taking away from these 2 days. Please, let's turn on our cameras. Last show. Turn on your camera because I need to get a good picture here. Yes. Perfecto, Bebeto. Uh-huh. So, Enyo, tell us something. Please, we are turning on our cameras briefly. So, Enyo, what are you taking away?
Okay. My takeaway is that sometimes some of our strength can actually be our weakness, but then we have to actually work on it to be able to what's it called? To be able to oh, I've lost the word. But then all I'm trying to say is that you should be able to capitalize on your strength and use it in a good way rather than its negative side on your life. And also another take home was that if I'm able to identify the specs of my if I'm able to identify the specs of my or wherever my person hurting, it's easier for me to work and align myself to it.
That's great. So since Pearl was not around, Queenly, bring us to a close.
Okay. For me, from yesterday to today, I think I have learned a lot, especially from the homework that was given us today, because it gave me time to do a deep introspection about myself. It made me understand that knowing your strength, then what you are passionate about, and then knowing your temperament, it all adds up to help you in identifying your purpose. And then the fact that you also spoke about sometimes you have to look at the things that irritate you at different places. And I think somebody asked a question, and then you were like, if it was a question session, you would have asked the person to write down 10 things, then you would pinpoint what runs through. Though I wasn't the one that asked the question, but I think I'm going to do that. And there was something I was really thinking through. So in all, looking at the training in total, just what we've had, I think when I put everything together, it will give me a better perspective of what my purpose would be. And definitely when I'm locked or I'm not getting what I want at the end of it, I know when we come back to you, you'll be available to teach us for free.
Did you say for free?
It's a bonus.
Okay. So guys, hey, I want to say thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak into your lives and help you on this journey. I know you are closer to finding your purpose. You may not be there yet, but believe me, you are closer to finding your purpose, and we are working on this journey. As you begin to refine your thoughts, you can always shoot me a message here and there, and I can help you some more on this journey. So thank you so much. Someone is saying happy birthday in advance. Yes, tomorrow is my birthday, and this is a gift I'm giving myself, doing what I love. So God bless you all for being a part of this. Thank you, and bye-bye to everybody, and take care. If you still have a question, you can stay behind and ask the question. I will do that for another 10 minutes, and then all my energy will be over, and then I will go. God bless. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Doc.
Okay. Please, Sandra here.
Okay, Sandra.
Yesterday, I think I was asking a question about, I think you were quite emphatic that our purpose is not our role in church. One of the slides. So I was coming back to the issue of the concept of the seven mountains, where religion or church is seen as a mountain. So when, from that slide, when you say that your purpose is not your role in church, how do we liaise that with those who are called to that mountain of the church, ministry, religion? How does it tie in there?
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the reason why I say your purpose is not linked to the role of your church. Why? All of you who are here, you still want to hear this part, or I still see people here?
We have questions.
Oh, you have questions. Okay, the reason why I say that is your purpose may play out in church, but if your purpose in church, if your purpose is to be a unifier, it doesn't matter whether you're an usher, you're the pastor, you're working at the finance desk, it will come out. But the moment you say, I must be a pastor, or I must be in the music ministry for my purpose to come out, then we have a problem. Now, a lot of the time, if you are called to that particular mountain, like some people are called, some people's purpose in life is to bring sanity into the body of Christ. Okay? So they may have a bit of an apostolic thing where they are bringing sanity into the body of Christ, but it is not tied to a role in the church, such that the minute it's tied to a role, when the role is taken away, that means your purpose is truncated. So if you say my purpose is to be an assistant pastor, and then your pastor now decides that he doesn't want you to be his assistant again, and he takes you off, then what happens? You understand me? Like, for instance, if you look at Bishop James Sarr, Bishop James Sarr's purpose is within the church. The mountain he's supposed to take is within the church, but it has transcended a role or a position he was playing in church. At the point in time he was doing Jericho Hour, they took him off Jericho Hour, they sent him to Adenta. At the point in time he was on radio. His purpose keeps being played out, irrespective of the position you put him in. That's different from when it is tied to a particular position. I can only perform when I have this position. You lock yourself down. And then when God is even telling you to move, you find it very difficult to move because your identity has been tied to that position. Dare I say, there are several pastors who handle major denominations that God will be afraid to come and tell them to stop being head pastors and go and do something else, because they are so tied to that identity and that position that they won't. They'll say it's a devil. Because in their minds, the only way I can live out my calling and my purpose is to be in that role and position. So that's why I said that. It's not that I have anything against church. Okay, so let me take another question. At least let's go around so that people can ask their questions. Josephine, you have a question?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I think from time immemorial, when I hear about purpose, or probably if someone asks me about what is my purpose in life, it seems to me like I have to give them like a phrase or a statement or a sentence that sums up who I am, or what I'm supposed to do, or what is expected of me. What is expected of me. So I just wanted to know that when we talk about purpose, can it be like little things which we feel that we find easy doing, or it has to be like one major statement that sums up everything we are supposed to be doing in life, or we've identified as our strengths? I don't know if my question is clear, but
I'm understanding you. The thing about purpose is your purpose is personal, and you choose to share it when you want to share it. So you shouldn't find yourself in a box where when people ask you what's your life's purpose, you can, if you want, and you realize they themselves don't understand what purpose is about, you can give a very simple answer. But the question you need to define for yourself is, you must be able to ask yourself, I as Josephine, why was I born? And what was I born to do? That is your purpose. All the other things and the little things, you can use them as answers to people. But the issue is you yourself in your heart and through your realization must understand why you are occupying space on this planet and the thing you and you alone can do. I'm sure when I share the slides and the videos, you understand it a lot better, especially from yesterday. Okay? Bogaya Emre. Let me take Fati's question and then I will have to end now. I'm tired. Fati, what's the question?
Thank you. Miss, you made mention of purpose statement. How do I start writing my purpose statement?
You take your phone and you go to Google. Then you type inside. How do I write a personal purpose statement? Google will lead you to several pages and you begin to study it. After you write a draft, show it to me and then I'll help you refine it. Okay? All right, dearly beloved, it's been great getting to know you. I've made new friends here. Sandra, how did you hear about us?
I saw on Reverend Nicholas states his status.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's great. So it's been a good experience getting to know you and a few new other people. For those of you who we knew ourselves already, and probably this like your third training on one of these things, God bless. And hey, take good care of yourselves. I have to go now. Bye-bye. And apologies for Malisa. She's really not feeling well today, so she couldn't really join in for long, but that's great. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.